Good morning. Hi there, beautiful souls, and welcome back, or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in my videos or live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Friday. We made it. It was, for me anyway, it was a very busy, grateful busy, but it's a very busy, fast paced moving week. Probably mainly because we had a long weekend here on the Monday, so it was a lot from Tuesday to Friday. I'm feeling very grateful. It has been a great week filled with new things. I'm going to jump into the energy update for the weekend, and this will probably trickle into a little bit of next week as well. Our listening skills. Spirit talked to me this morning a lot about our listening skills and about taking time to really hear our own energy, taking time to kind of, that reflection piece. And, some powerful words, yeah, very simple words from Spirit this morning in my meditation that they wanted me to share with you guys this morning. And you can marinate in it a little bit, and whatever that means, whatever this means for you, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change direction. It's okay to sit in reflection and say, you know what, I think I don't want to do that anymore. I think I want to listen and just kind of feel a little bit of different guidance from within, or a little bit of new things, and I really want to try this and if it works out, great, and if it doesn't, great. There's this whole listening. And then Spirit showed me, and this was very interesting. I found this quite interesting. We're not using our spiritual ears, and we're not always using our physical ears. And when you think about that for a moment, think about how reliant we are on text messages and emails. And we use our eyes more than our ears. And I was like, oh yeah, that is so profound. Where we're not always listening either with our physical ears. We don't always speak to people. Quite often, a lot of relationships are kept going via text messages and emails. And sitting down and listening has become something that we've pulled back a little bit from. And we don't want to kind of lean in there and listen to, even listening to ourselves, right? Like, when was the last time you sat with your own energy and just felt what you needed and listen to your body? Perhaps that can be a little bit of intuitive eating, or perhaps that can be just a little bit of some journaling, or speaking out loud and listening to yourself. Really listening up is kind of what Spirit talked to me about this morning. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting Spirit to go in that direction, just based on the theme of my week. But really listening up and listening to what Spirit has to say. I feel like there's a lot there in that. I feel like the reflection piece, and being able to navigate through, being able to change directions. And it's okay. Like, I mean, I think sometimes as humans, we feel if we change our mind or change direction, that it's a lack of, or it didn't work out for me kind of feeling. And it actually has an opposite energy to it. Is you can change your mind anytime. You can go into some different directions. It's okay if something didn't work out and you want to try something new, or perhaps it just doesn't resonate any longer. And but we look at that and we kind of shame ourselves. In Spirit's like, no, 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 no. That's where a lot of your listening skills and the new directions, and it's about the growth, and it's about deepening your awareness to the self. Really listening and being okay with, I can change my mind. I know it's we're allowed to do that. And it was like the word permission to change your mind is very much needed right now, whether it be always a thinking, or things that don't resonate with you, or trying something different. Have a seat at some point this weekend. Sit yourself down and just listen to your own, even just your own vibration, hearing the essence of who you are, and feeling into that, and allowing that to grow, allowing yourself that time and space to just listen. And sometimes it can be just as simple as sitting in your backyard, or going for a walk and listening to the nature sounds, really kind of using our physical world ears. It's almost like we're we're stepping too far back from our physical ears. It had a very unique yet funny feeling to it when spirit gave it to me, but we're not listening all the time. We're not listening. And then, as we kind of navigate, through that sometimes robotic energy of life, it kind of builds up, and all of a sudden we have this, whether it be an explosion of energy or emotions. Our body starts to speak to us, whether it be through aches and inflammation, or that stomach upset. Have a seat and just say, what am I not hearing? What do I need? Or asking yourself that, like, what do you need, Lana, what do you need today? And then listening for the response from yourself, from that heart space. All right, you guys, I'm going to jump into some questions. Very interesting energy with message from spirit. And I always sit and listen and practice what spirit gives, all the time. So give yourself a chance to hear yourself. Dee Dee, good morning. It's been a really hard week with lots of lessons. I really could use a message from you. Thank you. Dee Dee, I feel like I've got to allow the feels. I feel like I've got to acknowledge, in acknowledging the hard week, acknowledge, and it's okay to crumble a little bit in that, allowing us, sometimes we push ourselves out of feeling, and I just feel like I need to say it's okay. It's okay to feel, and it's okay to acknowledge how you're feeling. And Dee Dee, I also feel like tapping into that creative energy of yours, and really allowing that to kind of move through you, with some healing. And there is, a lot of healing energy around you, and leaning into the support systems that are there as well. I feel, Dee Dee, like you're the first one to give support, but quite often you may not lean into, I need that support right now. Dee Dee, I also feel, a lot of spirit visitation coming in. This is kind of interesting. I feel like you're going to get a lot of spirit visitation. You may feel them, see them, dream about them, connect with them. They're asking you to, like, connect. We're okay. We're okay here, and we're here to help you. Lean into that energy a little bit. I also feel, Dee Dee, I need to really allow myself to be held and hugged. So really allow, people to embrace you and to hold you, and really, really, like, fall into that, like, really fall into that being held energy. I just feel like I wish I could see you, Dee Dee, because that was the first thing I would do. I would just hold you and kind of scoop you up and allow your body to fall into being embraced. Hopefully that resonates there with you, Dee Dee. Good to see so many of you joining me. Rachel, it's been a rough week here too. Hope your weekend lightens for you. Oh, Rachel, look at the love and support. It was a week. It was a week. It was a lot this week. B, good morning. So I split up with my twin flame because he refused to heal. I ended up finding out I'm pregnant 2 months later, and we're trying to work on things. Any advice? Um, I think it's good that you try. I think that you stay in the power of now with working through. I also feel, be leaning into your and hearing yourself as well. I feel that, with a connection with the pregnancy, it's gonna connect you. It's gonna connect you to your twin flame, and it doesn't have to necessarily. And relationships are hard to predict. Number one, because people have choice and free will. Your twin flame can lean into some healing work, and you can't always feel which direction people are going to go. And you're right, you cannot force people to heal. They're on their own healing path with that. And I think, staying in your own lane with with supporting yourself and supporting your twin flame, but they've got to be able to pick it up. I also feel, if I can put it to you this way, is neutral ground. Either way this goes, whether it works out or not, creating a neutral ground, neutral territory, neutral space where it can be about the healing energy. It can be about new beginnings. It can be, and both of you kind of like in your own lane with it. I feel like, supporting yourself in that way will be immensely helpful. There's going to be, some choice and free will in all of this too. And sometimes, and I really feel that, this pregnancy has a huge purpose. And whether the relationship or not works out, there's this opportunity being presented to, and deciding on what you want to lean into. So what a beautiful gift. What a beautiful gift. I feel that, you're going to come out of this with very strong legs. And I don't know if you've struggled to like stand in your own truth or your own power, but I'm really feeling a lot of energy in my own legs, like really that strength and standing in it and navigating it through it with a lot of strength. I would kind of rub your legs and kind of feel how strong you are. I feel like I've got to tap into that. Wow, that beautiful, and it's a beautiful divine energy strength that's holding you up. So I feel like I got to connect there. I can't even stop rubbing my own legs. Um, Tap into how and into that strength. Okay. And you're always welcome here to come for support as well. Please know that you are loved here as well as in the universe, and you're always welcome to come here for some support as you need. Shy, several folk having a tough week. Same, me too. And when the week gets tough, I always, and I just had this conversation with a client last night. What are you doing to support yourself? What are you doing to release that energy? Feel the energy, not hold on to the energy. Our spiritual practices need to be turned up when we're having a rough time, right? To be able, whether it be journaling or connecting to the earth, whatever resonates with you. What are you doing to support yourself? Because that's our responsibility to be able to say, oh, and sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, I'll go out to the forest and I call it my spiritual temper tantrum where I release. This is really hard right now and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. And then I feel the energy of the support of the forest, because me it's the forest, right? I feel that energy come in and I allow myself to be held in it. But so, releasing it is a huge, huge, huge benefit to be able to, stomp your feet. It's okay. It's okay to stomp your feet. I've had my what the heck spirit many a times where I've stomped my feet with, and it's the human experience too. Like, we're here to learn, we're here to experience, we're here to navigate. Sometimes the navigation is difficult. Wesley, yeah, I think spirit told me to listen as well, as they rebooted my earplugs about 15 minutes ago. Listen up, Wes. You need to listen, right? And being able to, and it can be this simple. What am I hearing I need to do? Right. And just kind of allowing that. And it takes a bit of practice. And sometimes we don't get a response right away. I've literally looked up and went, hello, anybody hearing me? But sometimes it comes with a feeling. Sometimes it comes with, supporting ourselves. Sometimes it comes with, I got to look at the resistance in this. And, Spirit has said that to me many times. Look at the resistance in what you're experiencing. Mm, yeah, like perhaps that's not necessarily the direction that you should be heading. Cynthia, hi, Lana. Messages from my dad. Last week I saw two red cardinals. Oh, I love that. And I wanted to know if it was a sign from him or someone. Cynthia, I really feel that you had that initial. There's my dad. I also feel that it's also a second father figure. So grandfather, dad's dad. Paying we visit. Cynthia, I really feel like there's a huge, huge support message here. And it's like this. I see you trying, I see you growing, I see you healing, I see you working on your stuff. You're not alone. You're not alone. And I don't know if you struggle a little bit, Cynthia, with, even though you may not be alone here, you kind of have that lonely feeling, or feeling a little bit like a little bit alone. You're totally not alone. I love the Cardinals too, by the way. I just love them. Aaron, exhausted, tough week. Yeah, it's been a tough week. Shy question. I got denied the place I wanted to live, and speak of going in a different direction. I want to. I want to go back to the studying plan I have, but I don't know how to go about it right now. Oh, excuse me. Shy. So, as disappointing as it may have felt in that moment of not getting the place that you wanted, I always look at that is that's not for me. And I trust that that's not the space. I trust that I'm being guided, because in China, I know you're very spiritual and very connected, and I know you know this. But sometimes not getting what we want is pushing us into a direction that we need to go in. And and as and I always feel like, darn it, I really wanted that. But then I lean into, okay, show me the pathway. Show me where I'm supposed to go. Because we want what's for our highest good, right? We truly do. And I don't, and so I'm just reading your words back, but I don't know how to go about it right now. Powerful statement. Right now, I'm figuring it out right now. Right. Shy, that is a very, very powerful, spiritually supported statement to give yourself, and you will figure it out. I always sit with the show me the path, show me the direction. I trust spirit. I bring them in closer. I really listen up. I let things unravel, and then I show up for myself. I show up for myself. So Shy, you got to keep showing up for yourself. I want to go back to studying. I'm gonna start looking at different options. I'm gonna start exploring that. What does it look like? Perhaps you don't know right now because there's a new idea and a new plan that you need to kind of like feel into. And that's what it feels like to me. There's something new coming there, Shine. It just hasn't aligned with the timing of it right now. Play in it. Get playful. Look things up. Try read new subjects. Listen, asking yourself and listening back. Right. Try all of that, Shy. I have no doubt, Shy, you are going to navigate through this and with a shining bright light. All right. I also feel like it's a boy. I've had two girls. Anyone feel for this? Also, I was right about the other two. Be I'm kind of not sure. I do feel and perhaps maybe it's just a little bit too early for me to kind of feel into that. Trust your own intuition. If you feel, and perhaps that's why what I need to give to you is perhaps it's about trusting your own intuition. Being able to really allow and trust. And I don't know if you've been struggling with trusting yourself, B, but I feel like I have to say just trust and allow, go with that feeling. Studying law, says Shaz, but the idea of becoming a doctor interests me more. What do you see me becoming? Shaz, I think that one is tapping into what I talked about with the listening, and I feel that you need to follow what you're pulled to. What's really interesting is I see you being great at both. I I really really do. I think that if you decide, and again this is kind of a choice. If you decide to stick with law, I feel you're going to go into like a different part of law, more of I get it, lawyers are advocates, but it has more of a different feel to me. Like perhaps it's with organizations for people who are struggling at a different level. Like I don't feel it as like a divorce lawyer or a criminal lawyer. I'm feeling it more of a compassionate version of law. I also feel quite good with the medical field for you. And again, if you decide to go into being a doctor, that feels for me like working with a different type of client base that perhaps doesn't have access to medicine. Like it just has more of a, both of these careers feel like you're going in the humanitarian side of it, if that makes sense. It's like a huge humanitarian. Chaz, I also feel like I need to say to you, you are brilliant enough. You are brilliant enough. Listen to your soul. It's interesting that you're bringing that up, because you're hearing and listening, interested in being a doctor. Well done, you. And that's the kind of listening that Spirit was talking about, is really listening and going with what you feel is and going with that desire, right? And again, Shaz, again, it's okay to change the path. Right. It's okay to change our mind. Right. So there's that. And I don't know if you struggle a little bit. Well, I've started law and people are expecting me to be a lawyer, or, you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to go in a different direction. It's perfectly okay. Jasmine, what will spirit say about my values and beliefs as a person? I do feel they're showing me like a beautiful light energy. I also feel like I just need to whisper in your ear, our values and belief systems grow and change. And we're allowed to change our belief systems. We're allowed to lean into saying, up, nope, that no longer feels right to me. I know I'm gonna grow that. I also feel very growth mindset, Jasmine. I feel like, it's like there's no ceiling there with your growth, with beliefs, and with shifting or working on your values. We grow that. Our values grow and change, and our belief systems grow and change. And that's the glorious part of the journey here. Is it's a journey. We're allowed to continue to grow and to change into that. Jasmine, I also feel like I've got to say that radiant light that you put out to people, there's no limit on the dial on how bright that can go. So, I don't know if you struggle with dimming yourself or not, like brightening it up a little bit, but you are allowed to shine bright. You don't have to dim. If that makes sense there. Olivia, good morning, Lana, and everyone. Tia, is there a message from my uncle who passed? I think about him a lot lately. When we have like those thoughts a lot lately, when we feel I'm really thinking about that person. Quite often with people who have passed, we're connecting to them, and I feel like you're. I feel like he's coming in closer. Like I feel like like he's like I'm right here, and that's how we feel them. Sometimes we can just be thinking about them. That's us connecting with them. I also feel like he's got like his hand on your shoulder, and he's trying to push you kind of a little bit forward. He's showing me that you're good to take a step, and I just kind of see your feet like you're not sure of I'm not sure my footing is kind of how I'm. It's like you're good to take a step, Tia. So I don't know if you've been holding yourself back or not sure about taking a step. He's got his hand like this, and he's like just giving you that nudge. Just take the step. One step matters is what he's showing me. And if that doesn't resonate right now in the moment, Tia, just kind of remember that he said it. I also feel like a lot of repeat numbers are around you. I feel like he's sending a lot of repeat numbers. Watch, just keep an eye on license plates, or I just see a lot of repeat numbers. I see them on doorway, like on doors. I just see these repeat numbers. He's trying to guide you into steps forward. Spring. Good morning, Lana. I need news from my guides. Um, Spring. They just put a graduation hat on you, and I can hear that. Da, 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 da. I love how spirit guides will give me things like that. Um, I feel like there's like you've graduated from something. Like I feel like you've stepped into like that graduation space, and there's like that next learning, like that lifelong learner kind of energy. But they're celebrating with you like this graduation that you're going to, or that you're kind of like part of your journey that you're navigating through. It's this graduation into the next level, and I really feel like there's going to be some new. Oh, I think I'm interested in that. I think I want to know more about that. I think there seems to be this curiosity energy that's coming in at you like a freight train. And it's like it's okay to ride that freight train and say, "Yep, that resonates with me. I want to know more." Nope, that doesn't resonate with me. Next stop on the train. I really feel like I've like there's like this next level. Excuse me. Okay. Uh, Lucy Alana, hope you're well. My allergies have been bugging me a little bit, you guys. I can't wait until the allergy season's over. I hope you're well. Have been feeling like my ancestors have been around me a lot. I don't know if it's because I just had a baby. Oh, baby. Congratulations on that new baby. Oh, I wish I need a baby fix. I gotta find a baby to snuggle. Um, Absolutely. So our ancestors are always around. We feel them a lot more when there's like a great life event like having a baby. We feel them. And remember, babies, young children, toddlers, and preschool children are very close to the spirit dimensions. Keep an eye on that baby, for like that looking or that babbling where they seem focused on talking to somebody, because they connect. Babies connect at such a beautiful level. You just kind of keep an eye on that, because yeah, that will also kind of give you a lot of love and peace and reassurance in knowing. I also feel, Lucia, there's something very different about your parenting, and it feels, they're showing me that it feels very good, and they're very proud of that, and it also feels like a blend of how they did it with your own recipe of how you're doing it really, there's something there culturally that's you're doing the same, but then there's a piece that's very different, and they're showing me that they like the blend. I love that. um Mila, do my spirit guys have any messages for me? Mila, I feel like I'm going in and out. So I don't know if you've been going in and out of your authentic self. I feel like I'm going in and out. And I feel like I'm struggling with figuring that out. And it's okay. You're doing your best. Right. So I also feel like I've got to like cool your jets. So I feel like I just gotta like this is like what your spirit's doing to me. Is like they're sitting you down and they're saying, just breathe and calm, like it's almost like you go and I feel like I'm shaken. Like I just feel like I'm a little bit rattled, but I feel like it's more of a you know, old thought systems and old belief systems, and that not enough space. And they're just like have a seat and breathe. You're going in the right direction. You're navigating through this the best that you can. They're trying to kind of like bring you down, bring you down an octave, and just like come down an octave, and just kind of take a good look. You're doing really well. They're trying to calm that. So giving yourself a moment, it can literally be a moment of closing my eyes and just simply breathing, breaking up the static of the physical world, or that chaotic energy that we're all aware of, that's always there. The physical world has a lot of chaotic energy, and we've got to be able to yank ourselves out of it and say, you know what? Not blending with that today. It's like, not blending with that, Mila. I'm not gonna blend with that. It's like I gotta get control of the empathic part of you to kind of like ground it, protect it, not absorb it. I feel like most of that isn't even your stuff to begin with. Practicing more of a pause will be very, very helpful for you. Time out. 10 seconds can be very powerful. Oh, I gotta watch the time, you guys. How does the time go so fast? Lana loves funds. A while ago, I went to two readers and asked them about my relationship in the future would be. They had the same response. That didn't make sense. Makes sense. Am I able to choose my future, or are things set up? Ooh, that's a really good question. That is a really good question. So, there's a bit of both. There is a bit of both. And I know I say this all the time. Relationships from a reader, we can go with how it feels, and we do have choice and free will. So I'm just gonna like back up a little bit here with a little bit of soul contracts 101. So, we do have a soul contract. Certain people are in that sort of soul contract. And we do have choice and free will here in the physical world. So we can meet someone and we can make a decision. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm gonna move forward. We can meet someone in the soul contract, and the relationship can be, not everybody comes here and has a lifelong relationship. Some of us came here with short-term relationship contracts, and that's perfectly okay, right? I think one of the greatest things is when we have that awareness that a relationship is over or ending, it's time to move forward. Because we do know, we do have those, we call them red flags, that I didn't see or want to see, right? We do know, but I feel like we also have choice. We do have choice in creating what we want and what we don't want as well. Now, so many people are afraid of, well, what if I don't fulfill my soul contract and I have to come back into another lifetime, and yada yada yada. That's okay too, right? Like, I've seen my soul contract. When I crossed over to the other side, spirit said, here's your soul contract, have a read. And in it was the work that I do now that I really resisted. And I had the choice on whether or not I wanted to pick that up. Did I want to navigate in another way? And not once did I feel pressured or shame from spirit with whatever choice I make. It's like we've got many paths, right? We got many paths, and on those paths are people that help us along the way. So, and I'm very, and I always say to people, readers can guide you and give you information with what you're meant to know. So readers aren't showing everything, because sometimes we're not meant to know it all. We're meant to kind of like live in that moment and sort it out, and that can be very difficult. And I always say as well, you know lean into how that feels for you. Lean into how that feels for you. You can't, base everything on what a reader says. You can't, because we don't know it all. And I think that that's really, really a profound statement to really lean into. Okay. Um, where we need to go. I don't know how to stop worrying about this. I've been worried ever since. Am I able to choose my future, and how, or are things set up? Okay, so I think you're coming back to that Lana Lives Fonz. Um, Where's the worry? Start acknowledging it. Start acknowledging Atlanta Lives Fonz with things like this. Um, I'm trusting that the right partnership is on my path, and I'm working on myself at being ready. Right. So those little things will kind of decrease the worry, and I think will help. Um, Trust is a big thing. Trust is a big thing, right? Um, I'm just having a feel into that. I also think that part of this Lana Loves Fonz is kind of navigating through the fear of being alone, I feel like there's that fear, like, I feel like that's part of is just truly being absolutely in love with your energy and the journey and the experience, regardless of the people that cross my path. I really feel like that will kinda soften. I also don't feel like you're not gonna meet a partner here. I feel very much now, let's talk about this. So, here's when what we do have control over. I really wanna meet someone, but I'm not leaving my house. The partners don't fall from the sky usually, right? So, I feel like I've got to kind of like navigate into places that resonate with you, and we do have to participate in that energy as well. And I think I'm going to try this. I really feel like a connection to. I don't know if you, Lana Fons, do you row or canoe? There's something that I'm going to wait for your response on that, and then I'll continue with that. Bianca, any messages from my aunt Sonia? This is kind of cute. Bianca, she's showing me like that divine feminine energy and treating yourself to it. So I don't know if you haven't had a lot of time for like that soft energy for you. She's also putting on some lipstick. I feel like that divine soft feminine, and whatever that divine soft feminine means to you, because it means different things to different people. She's asking you to treat yourself to that. I love that so much. Big hugs to you too, Judy. All right, I want to be scooped up too. Shaz, how do we use tarot cards? Do they predict the future? All right, tarot cards. Um, tarot cards tarot cards, pendulums, even the spirit animal book. They're a vehicle. They're a vehicle to connect with, right? So, um, in my earlier days, I did a lot of tarot, and then tarot cards and how they channel. It just it I just went this way, right, with them. But tarot cards are a great vehicle to use. I always recommend, learning how to use them, and also learning how you work with them. Too many people get caught up in I'll call it the gatekeeping energy, where this card only means that. No, that card can mean what it means to you, and you can channel from that card. So I think if you have an interest in that and learning about that and a curiosity about that and you're pulled to that, learn them. But also learn and remember that it also connects to how you work with them. No two readers are the same. No two tarot readers are the same. So it's a vehicle to help connect with the spirit dimensions. Very similar to any kind of channeling. It's a form of channeling. Can they predict the future? So, I feel like it can guide us. There's also choice and free will in that. And, and for me, and I say that all the time, this is used as a guide. A spirit guides us, and I also feel that sometimes I've had to learn. The greatest thing I had to learn was to not interpret my own thoughts when I'm reading. So because that's a big one. You can't. So I've learned to literally shut my brain off, and it's not my opinion or my thoughts when I'm channeling, because that can be huge when you're working with cards with your predictions. Is are you in your headspace? So Shaz, I always say, with any of my students, whether I'm teaching them, mediumship, or the intuitive or tarot, or working, I teach them to be able to step out of their own brain, to be able to hear the message, right? To be able to interpret the message. Hope that's helpful. All right, you guys. Oh, it's 9:03. I gotta find a way to hit a pause button on time. I have a cardinal too, couple hanging around. I see him more because I think she's sitting on eggs nearby. Also a dove. Oh, I love that so much. Shy, my way to support myself is to create. Just close myself off to the world and create. Love that. PJ, morning, Lana. Had some difficulties in work, wondering if my job is secure. Um, I feel, especially right now in this timeline, um, I feel that most jobs feel a little bit wobbly right now. I feel like there's an uncertainty with jobs. I think that, some things are going to change for a lot of people. We're also in a growth right now, as well as, even though we may see it as a pause or things kind of like, crumbling around. Yes, things are falling apart a little bit, worldwide, but it's also going to create new. So I feel like, there's a creative new. So, PG, but I don't feel terrible. I don't feel terrible with your job, but I do feel like I have this awareness that things are changing a little bit there, right? So when I feel that coming in, I turn up the manifesting. I start with, I'm open to new opportunities for my highest good. I'm really open to navigating in the direction that I need to be going in on my journey. I step out of the fear and the oh no's and the what ifs. I shift out of that right away, because that energy can have an impact. I'm open to new doors. I don't feel terrible though, PJ. Like, but I do feel like I've got to say, shifting into that mindset of, if it's time to change, I'm good to go. Right? I'm open. I'm open, but I don't feel terrible right here. Hope that makes sense there, PJ. Okay, Marlene, are there any messages from my guides or angels? Yeah, and they just shouted it at me. Ask more for help. Ask more for guidance. Ask more. Bringing them everywhere with you. I don't know if there's a shy part of you, Marlene, or that holds back on asking, but they're like, talk to us more. I feel like you do talk to them somewhat. Talk to us more. Connect with us more. Build the relationships more. Take that deeper. Take that deeper. Christina, good morning, all. I'm wondering if there's a message from my guides today. Like, they keep showing me, like, they keep scraping a plate. It's kind of interesting. Christine, I'm curious if you've got a lot on your plate right now. They're scraping things off your plate, and and kind of like, I don't know, it feels very staticky as well. Is there things going on right now that you can kind of hit the pause button or scrape off your plate right now? I feel like I've got too much. I feel like I even have a full mouth. I feel like I've got too much. So I feel like if you can give yourself the pause, give yourself a moment, take something off your plate, and even if it's like, the laundry can wait for another hour or two, or tomorrow or next week, I feel like it's like too much on my plate. And I just feel like I'm like buzzing. Like, I just feel like I got this buzz going on with too much. And I feel like I just need to kind of like give myself a moment here. They're showing me that something's on your plate. It's time to kind of like scrape off here. All right, you guys. I know there's a lot of questions, and I didn't get to everyone, but I have in-person sessions today. It's been a very busy week. I'm very grateful, but it's been a very busy week. Lanolus Fawns, thank you so much for the response. I don't canoe, but I actually don't get out much at the moment, but I constantly feel the pull to connect with nature, and I love nature, landscapes, and oceans. Okay, so Lanolus Fawns, like I said, meeting a person, they don't fall from the sky. So I got to get you out, and perhaps like in getting out more in nature. I really feel like I got a canoe or kayak. I feel like I need to float on the water. So perhaps kind of inquire about that. Is there a rowing group, or some kind of lesson that you can take with like canoeing, or what do you call those floating boards that you stand on? But I can feel like I need to kind of like get myself moving that way. All right, you guys. Let's do two today. Let's do two today. Okay, let's give us an angel number. 342. Your prayers have increased your faith, your connection with the angels and ascended masters. All these factors help you in every area of your life. For those of you who are like, what am my guides saying? Continue talking to them. Continue asking. Continue your connection. Our connections can be prayer, absolutely. Our connections can be, please help me, can be asking. Connections can be like, I know you're with me, thanks for coming. I talk to my guides all the time, like all the time. What do you think? Come with me. Can you help me with that? Can you hold this for me? I literally will say, you know what? I need you to hold this for me. I need you to hold this. I just need to process. Can you help me process? C- Relationships with your spirit guides, huge. And it's how you connect. It doesn't have to be how a book tells you to connect. It doesn't have to be how I tell you to connect. It's just what resonates with you. Your relationship with your spirit guides is very unique. Simply start chit chatting, however you feel comfortable doing it. Okay? Need some tea. I just asked my spirit guides to clear traffic for me, because I've pushed my limit today. It can be that simple, right? Can you clear the traffic for me? I'd be grateful too. All right, you guys, help me out. What do we need to know for the weekend? Crab. You're about to experience an unexpected shift in your surroundings or in your personal life that will be beneficial to your soul's path. You'll find yourself becoming increasingly clairvoyant to be able to see things from a non visible realm more clearly. You're missing a lot by staying too focused on what's directly in front of you rather than incorporating the subtleties of what you hear peripherally. Ooh, right? What you hear. You hear that? Listening. There's our listening reference. I get so excited. I know. Pay close attention to promptings from your subconscious. That's listening, which will come through dreams, visions, flashes of insight, and bring those to the surface for guidance and to manifest them in the physical reality. Put on some of your favorite music, dress comfortably, shut the shades, and dance. Dance. Move your hips. Move your hips. Moving your hips is extremely powerful for moving energy around. Um, I've got almost no dancing skills. Never have, never have. But I do, like, that hula hoop motion. I try to move my hips to move energy so that I can kind of keep things moving. But and I'll dance anyway. I've got no problem dancing anyway. You don't have to be great at it to dance. That's probably why it said close the shades. Oh my gosh, the humor. Our hips don't lie. Yeah, it's interesting on my dancing skills. But you know what? I dance anyway, and if I just, but and it's okay. And I think sometimes we judge ourselves, or we have to be good at something to do it. Just move your hips, shake your booty, have a good time. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Listen up this weekend. Listen up. Give yourself some time to listen, to really hear. Text less and talk more. Right. So, I think the communication skills on using our physical world ears is huge. And I think that it's important, not just with other people, but with ourselves, right? To listen to ourselves. You guys, the answers are always right here. We just have to hear them, feel them. It's all within us, right? We just have to kind of tune in, tap in, allow. It's all here. Um, I also feel really pulled for a moment. Spirits just kind of bring me back into a bit of an energy update. Is watching the overstimulation from other people, not getting pulled in, not that for whatever reason is going to be very significant over the weekend. Watch that you don't get sucked into stuff that's not yours. Okay, as always. I'm wishing you love, light, blessings. Have a spirit guided weekend. Thumbs up if you enjoyed your time with me here today. And I will see you Monday morning. Okay? All right. Take care, you guys.